Hello and welcome. Tonight, presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the February 2023 elections asked Supreme Court to grant his application to tender fresh evidence against President Tinubu on his forgery case against the president. Senate confirms the appointment of Ola Olukoyede as substantive chairman of the EFCC and Halima Shehu as national coordinator of National Social Investment Program Agency. And the leadership of the Labour Party expresses dissatisfaction with recent governorship tribunal judgments in Enugu and Kano State, vows to present new facts at the Court of Appeal.
On business news tonight, Nigeria's gross official reserves dropped significantly to $33.2 billion in the month of September amid increased demand pressure and severe deficit in the forex supply.
On sports news tonight, Casper Ruud's hope of qualifying for the ATP finals took a hit after losing to American Marcos Giron in the second round of the Japan Open.
And from the nation's capital, bandits kill at least 3 persons, abduct 12 others in an attack in Bagega community of Anka local government area.
And in international news from London, Joe Biden says yesterday's massive attack on a hospital in Gaza was caused by the other team and that it was not Israel.
The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, in the February 25th presidential election, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, has again asked the Supreme Court to jettison technicality and grant his application for leave to tender fresh and additional evidence to support his claim that President Bola Tinubu submitted a forged document to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Mr. Abubakar predicated his plea on the grounds that presenting forged documents by any candidate, especially by a candidate for the highest office in the land, is a grave constitutional issue that must not be encouraged. Now, the former vice president stated this in his reply on point of law to President Tinubu's objection to grant leave for Alhaji Atiku to present the fresh evidence before the Apex Court. President Bola Tinubu had predicated his objection on grounds of jurisdiction and that the issue of qualification is a pre-election matter, amongst others, and subsequently prayed the court to deny the grant of the application. While faulting President Bola Tinubu, Mr. Abubakar submitted that issues of merit ought not to be determined or pronounced upon at the interlocutory stage. Meanwhile, in a 20-paragraph affidavit deposed to in support of the application, Atiku Abubakar argued that if the Apex Court grants the application, there will be no need for any further argument other than the written address in support of same, showing that the second respondent is in violation of the provisions of Section 137(1)(j) of the Constitution by presenting a certificate disclaimed by the institution from where he purportedly procured same. To the National Assembly, where the Senate has confirmed the appointment of Mr. Ola Olukoyede as the new chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, that's the EFCC. The lawmakers also confirmed the appointment of Mrs. Halima Shehu as the national coordinator of the National Social Investment Program Agency. Our correspondent, Dele Omoyeni, reports.
It's the second legislative day of the week in the Senate. The first business of the day is the screening of some nominees of President Bola Tinubu.
The request of Mr. President.
The leader of the Senate moves a motion for the Senate to admit the nominee for the position of the national coordinator of the National Social Investment Program Agency. She is ushered in and allowed to introduce herself.
I joined politics in 2010. By 2011, I was appointed as the Senior Special Assistant to the Executive Governor of Katsina State.
The senators seek clarification on some issues regarding the activities of the agency.
We have also got $800 million from the World Bank. This office is going to be in charge of distributing this money to the poor and the needy in the society, the poor and the vulnerable group in the society. Mr. President, how sure are we that this money will be distributed equitably?
You put it on record that you were able to do that in 613 local governments, and 116 local governments were not covered. What was the reason for that?
Next, the Senate admits the nominees for chairmanship and secretary of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. And the nominees start by introducing themselves.
By way of executive education, I'm also an alumnus of Harvard Kennedy School, University of Harvard, and also Oxford, University of Oxford in UK, where I had an executive education program in public corruption management.
I was admitted into the University of Maiduguri in 1983 to study BSc accountancy. I graduated 1987. Thereafter, I did my NYSC in Allied Bank in Niger State.
The senators also have questions on how they intend to pilot their affairs.
In 2022, we are flagging over 2,000 something convictions. But all is minor crime that if you add up, does not total to one crime, financial crime committed by an individual, which I will not mention, and then the EFCC allowed him to go home on a self-recognition.
Are you supposed to just invite and detain a person on a petition from anybody? Or you must have concrete evidence that that crime have actually been, committed?
The Senate then takes a decision on the nominees.
The nomination of Mr. Ola Olukoyede is hereby confirmed as chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Some of the senators react to some controversies surrounding the nomination of Mr. Olukoyede.
He thinks that people will not just be visited because of political situations, but they will be investigated because, if they commit crime. If they don't commit crime, there's no point. So there's no going to be victimization of political opponents.
And then when we look at the dictionary meaning of cognate, cognate is relevant. Relevant qualification, relevant experience. Doesn't mean that cognate experience must be garnered or within the confines of EFCC.
The Senate then adjourns plenary for the week ahead of its retreat at Ikotepene in Akwa Ibom State. Daily Omoyeni, Channels Television News.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, says the recent revocation of lands in the FCT is not targeted at any individual or group. The minister was speaking when he received members of the Abuja National Mosque Committee in his office. The minister also played host to resident doctors in the FCT, appealing to them not to embark on strike, as he assures that his administration will prioritize the welfare of health workers in the nation's capital. Our correspondent, Gloria Mizoke, reports.
Officials of the FCT chapter of the Association of Resident Doctors are received by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike. The association is visiting the minister to apprise him on some of the challenges in the health sector.
We still have shortage of manpower. This shortage of manpower is actually causing a burnout of the doctors in the FCT. FCT has actually been on the brunt of the Jackson law side, so we would want that to be considered.
These are not unfamiliar challenges, according to the minister.
In FCT, the salary I want 8 billion. I'm not talking about this increment now. You're a medical doctor. Sit there with them. Make recommendations and see the ones who can do and the ones who cannot do. Don't threaten me about strike. Oh. You know, I like it. When I go on strike, I save money. Even if you come back, I won't pay. We'll determine it in court without stress. We'll work out the ones, we'll look at what we can do and see where we can get funds to pay. But please, let us work.
Separately, the FCT minister receives members of the Abuja National Mosque Committee, led by the Etsu Nupe, His Royal Highness Alhaji Yahaya Abubakar. The recent revocation of lands by those yet to commence development within the stipulated period is central here.
We received in the whole lot the information on our property that we actually got from this authority, that is plot 99 and 63. The among the plots that have been given the mandate or marching order to develop within the next 3 months.
For religious grants, okay. Instead of 3 months, we can give you additional time. So our people should stop this issue. Oh, he's targeting a social group. He's targeting a social religion. He's targeting a social ethnic group. No. It is for the interest of all of us. Don't allow politicians who will have one squabble or the other, who have no capacity to face me in the war front, political war front. Then they fall back to religion or ethnic sentiment.
Meanwhile, the FCT minister affirmed that a total of 30 kilometers of road will be constructed across the FCT. From Abuja, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
In a move geared towards strengthening societal reforms, a non-political and non-profit-making foundation, Matriarch Foundation, has taken its enlightenment drive to students of Zumuratu Islamiyya Grammar School in Ikorodu, Lagos. President of the foundation, Chief Bintu Fatima Tinubu, while distributing writing materials to the students, urges them to desist from drug abuse, violence and hooliganism. She also adds that the foundation will continue to visit various secondary schools across the 20 local government areas and LCDAs in the state to spread the campaign against drug abuse.
Students of Zumuratu Islamiyya Grammar School are excited over the career talk on drug abuse and its effect. The event brings together top-ranking members of the Matriarch Foundation, traditional rulers and representatives from the Igbo Bayeku LCDA. Convener of the program and the Yalo Day of Lagos renews her commitment to seeking a drug-free environment while also highlighting the dangers.
The safety of our school children cannot be overemphasized as we seek to provide thorough, proper education and drug-free environment coupled with great reform born out of knowledge. My dear children, you must desist from hooliganism, drug abuse, violence, and immortality that will endanger your health and family.
Other speakers also educate the students with a charge to parents.
A lot of parents who are not taught, who doesn't know culture, who is not experienced, how will they impact his children?
When we come to talk about drug use and abuse, all attention is focused on the male child. Isn't it? When you say somebody is doing drugs, all the attention will be that is the boy is that boy. But the case is no longer that. You find girl child now taking to drug use and abuse.
But it's not all talk as the students entertain the audience.
Everybody should get up and assist these children of nowadays to tell them day and night that what they are doing is wrong. I'm sure if the pressure is big on them and the pressure is much on them, they will definitely come back to their senses. If they don't come immediately, in future, they won't have anybody to blame but themselves. So I feel that we cannot leave everything for the government.
Matriarch Foundation says it will continue to be a helping hand to the vulnerable in the community with a commitment to addressing systemic barriers and discrimination that hinder individuals from accessing basic necessities and opportunities.
In part two, after the break, Bandits kill at least 3 persons, abduct 12 others in an attack in Bagega community of Anka local government area in Zamfara state. Do join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the News at 10 coming to you live from Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. Presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the February 2023 elections, Atiku Abubakar, has asked the Supreme Court to grant his application to tender fresh evidence against President Bola Tinubu on his forgery case against the president. Senate confirms the appointment of Ola Olukoyede as substantive chairman of the EFCC and Halima Shehu as national coordinator of National Social Investment Program Agency. The leadership of Labour Party expresses dissatisfaction with recent governorship tribunal judgment in Enugu and Kano states, vows to present new facts at the Court of Appeal. And US President Joe Biden says Tuesday's massive attack on a hospital in Gaza was caused by the other team and not Israel. Time now to head to the nation's capital, and Terry Ikumi is standing by for the latest at our Abuja studios. Hello, Terry.
Hi, Ayo. Now, at least 3 persons have been reportedly killed and 12 others abducted in an attack by armed bandits in Bagega community of Anka local government area of Zamfara state. The district head of the community, his 8-year-old daughter, and about 10 others were abducted by gunmen. Although police authorities in the state are yet to confirm the attack, a resident of the community who escaped during the attack told Channels Television that the bandits invaded the community on motorcycles on Monday evening and started shooting sporadically, forcing residents to scamper to safety. He said 3 persons were killed, while 11 persons were critically wounded and are receiving treatment at various hospitals. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Army says troops of its 302 Artillery and 14 Field Engineer Regiments have captured 2 locally made artillery projectile launchers from fighters of the indigenous people of Biafra and its armed affiliate, Eastern Security Network. A statement by the Director of Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, explained that the artillery weapons were seized alongside other items on Monday as troops swooped on the dissidents who fled on sight in troops' advancement. The statement adds that in a separate operation on the same day, troops of 34 Artillery Brigade conducted an offensive operation against oil thieves in Oguta local government area of Imo State. The items recovered from the camp include 1 crude oil cooking oven, 3 reservoirs, among others. Away from security matters now, winners have emerged at the 23rd edition of National Company of the Year Competition 2023 held in Lagos. Sustainable Future Advocate, a company formed by students from Koshofe Secondary School, Lagos State, went home with the first prize at the contest. The annual event is organized by Junior Achievement Nigeria with sponsorship from the First Bank Nigeria.
We, the Matriarch company, have undergone the innovative process.
Having emerged regional winners, 13 companies from various secondary schools across the state and Abuja battle for the National Company of the Year awards.
In this rubbish,
the presentations entail each company to convince the audience and judges about its product, its sustainability, and the ability to solve a problem in their locality.
Our product, KC Oil, also known as the neem oil, can be used as a means of birth control without all those side effects and complications.
On display are product and services developed by the companies. Team leads of companies put in final efforts to convince the judges as they inspect the various trade booths.
We've not spoken to them like students. We've asked them questions like CEOs, and just seeing them own that name. I'm the CEO of the company, and then they answer questions. It's extremely impressive. It just tells you that the future is bright.
For creating a solar-powered robot refuse bin, New Height Company from Top Faith International School, Akwa Ibom State, emerges the best school based on popular votes online. The overall winner of the competition is the Sustainable Future Advocate Company from Koshofe Secondary School, Lagos State. The company made plantain briquettes as alternative to cooking gas, shoes from waste plastic rings, and brooms from discarded plastic bottles.
I was surprised by the way, and I was afraid at first, but we thank God for making us the winner of this competition.
The National Company of the Year program has been made possible by Junior Achievements Nigeria and First Bank Nigeria.
The whole idea of the Company of the Year program is to develop students into problem solvers. The opportunity that First Bank has had to do this for the past 9 years has been tremendous for us. We built young minds. We've impacted over 1 million students just from this program.
The winner of the national competition would go on to represent Nigeria in the Africa Company of the Year competition in Rwanda later in the year.
Well, what do they say about catching them young? And that's all from the nation's capital. Back to you, Ayo.
Many thanks, Terry. The leadership of the Labour Party has expressed dissatisfaction with the recent governorship tribunal judgment in Enugu and Kano states, promising to present new facts at the Court of Appeal. The Labour Party National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Obiora Ifo, gave the party's position at a news conference in Abuja. Meanwhile, the party believes the legal tussle over the party's governorship candidate for Imo State has impacted their campaign.
The National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party, along with other members of the National Working Committee, are addressing this news conference in Abuja against the backdrop of some recent court judgments affecting the party.
Thank you so much.
One of such cases is that of the tribunal judgment in Enugu State, where the petitions of the Labour Party candidates were dismissed. The party is promising to present new facts at the appeal court.
Enugu State Governorship Election Tribunal on Saturday, 21st September 2023, shockingly delivered a judgment on the disputed election that appeared to have ignored the facts in issue. With the recent judgment of the Governorship Election Tribunal in Nasarawa State and the Nkanu East State Constituency Tribunal judgment, the Labour Party is forced to revisit the travesty of justice that took place in the Enugu Governorship Tribunal judgment, especially given that the three situations presented similar facts, yet different pronouncements were made by the judiciary.
The Labour Party also speaks on the impact of the recent Supreme Court judgment that affirms the candidacy of Senator Achonu as the party's governorship candidate for Imo State, as it lists conditions for pardoning Mr. Basil Maduka, who took the party to court.
We are not asking anybody not to come back, but there has to be a process. And one of the terms that we are saying is, let him show how serious he is by going to Owerri and campaign for our candidate, who he has helped, he did everything to undo his campaign.
However, at a separate news conference, Mr. Maduka defends his decision to drag the party to court, though he is promising to work for the party.
Today, our party will make sure that our party wins. Because I've invested a lot. I'm the highest investor. So, my party in Imo have to win. Anybody that is telling you that if this man is selling the party, is it from Imo State?
The party is lamenting the impact of the several litigations on the fortunes of the party ahead of the forthcoming off-season elections.
Does that make you...
Still ahead on the news at 10, Ibom Air joins the West African market with an inaugural flight to Ghana, with plans to expand to other parts of Africa in the next 5 years. That's on Business News. Join us again.
First Money is Nigeria's biggest and most preferred agent banking network. Thanks to First Money, millions of people are living their dreams. Meet some First Money agents who are driving this.
One Kisu Kiriki from First Bank.
introduced me to First Money. I forgot searching for jobs.
Ya taimaki mutane sosai wurin matsowa kusa da yanayin banki. Da sai sun tafiya mai nisa kamin su je su samu banki.
Through First Money, over 1 million people across Nigeria have their financial services needs met daily. In all the accessible local government areas, you're bound to find First Money agents. With First Money, we're bringing financial inclusion and the many benefits that come with it. You first. First Bank.
There's a drop of goodness in everyone. Share goodness with someone today. Malta Guinness. Enjoy a world of good.
Recover with Astamin, a blend of amino acids and multivitamins.
Afe Babalola University holds 11th convocation ceremonies and 14th founders anniversary. October 19th, renowned Professor Patrick Lumumba will deliver a keynote address, convocation lecture 20th October by former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Chief Emeka Anyaoku, founders dinner and awards night 7 p.m. 21st October, convocation grand finale and the conferment of honorary degrees on His Royal Highness Justice Sidi Baje Mohammed I, Emir of Lafia, Managing Director of Bovas Oil, Mrs. Victoria Adwola Sampson, former Secretary General to the Commonwealth, Chief Emeka Anyaoku, join Afe Babalola University to celebrate another milestone of 14th uninterrupted academic calendar and the 11th unbroken convocation ceremonies. Upward, a vision in action.
I've never taken the easy route. I had the audacity to go against what was expected. Society tried to hold me back. It just gave me the resilience to soar higher. To me, this is just the beginning. We rise by lifting others, bringing as many people as we can with us.
Martel Blue Swift, crafted for those who soar higher.
Be the standout Swift.
We're having a baby boy!
Girl!
Boy.
Girl!
Boy!
Guys, I've got amazing news for you.
No. Keep the news to yourself, please.
Which one is mine? All 8 of them. How many of them are girls?
Get 8 times the value of every recharge, 1,000 Naira sign-up bonus, and double data with Airtel over Jara. Airtel, a reason to imagine. Discover Lipton's flavorful and balanced taste. We pick fine quality tea leaves from selected tea gardens around the world to give you Lipton Yellow Label's flavorful and balanced taste in every sip.
Welcome back. One of the nation's foremost airlines, Ibom Air, is adding a new route to its operations as it pursues its vision of extending its reach to other business districts within Africa. The latest is Ghana, the first of the several countries on the continent the airline plans to fly into in the next 5 years. During the maiden flight to Accra, Ghana, the management of the airline explained that Ibom Air seeks to ensure continuous unhindered service delivery to travelers across the continent.
Air travel in Nigeria and Africa has grown over the years
as carriers now see the importance of on-time flight operations in and out of various destinations. One of the nation's flag carriers, Ibom Air, has expanded its frontiers with the opening of a new route into Accra, Ghana. It is the airline's maiden flight to the West African country, and indeed its first into any African country. As a ritual in aviation, a water cannon salute welcomes the CJ900 Ibom Air jet after a 45-minute flight time from Lagos to Accra. During the welcome ceremony at the Kotoka International Airport, the management of Ibom Air says it's poised to boost trade, industry and investments for Nigeria and Akwa Ibom State.
We look forward to a long and fruitful foray into Accra. We expect to be here for a very long time. At some point, in the near future, we'll be doing 5 frequencies out of Lagos and Abuja. And we will grow the routes to the benefit of GACL, Ghana, and Nigeria.
Passengers share their thoughts on the new route and Ibom Air's foray into West Africa.
It's like the first time Ibom Air is going international. So it was good, We had fun from the ambience, the food, and then the air hostess. They were really, really good. So, you guys, Ibom Air goes to Accra.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you grade it?
If I have to be sincere, if I really have to be sincere, I'd say 7, because it was good.
For the state government, much is expected from the airline in terms of its impact on national and sub-national economy.
Well, clearly I anticipate a spike in the numbers of travelers coming in. I anticipate a growth in terms of our internally generated revenue. I anticipate a growth in terms of job created. I anticipate a growth in terms of entrepreneurship because the coming of Ibom Air to Ghana means that you can have a direct link from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State in Nigeria, with Accra in Ghana.
With the addition of Accra to the list of destinations for Ibom Air and 28 frequencies weekly in and out of Lagos and Ghana, the airline says it is ready for a new vista of business opportunities as it eyes other destinations within Africa.
International breweries, makers of Hero Lager beer, is pushing further the promotion of the Igbo apprenticeship system with the announcement of 100 million naira seed fund for apprentices who will receive training in the Maiden Hero Apprenticeship Scheme. Now, according to the corporate affairs manager of the company, Mr. Damian Igwe, the International Breweries is strengthening the Igbo apprenticeship system as a means of tackling unemployment and creating a more skilled economy.
It's a happy occasion in the commercial city of Onitsha as the International Breweries, makers of Hero Lager beer, once again gather stakeholders to unveil its latest initiative on the promotion of Igbo apprenticeship system. This time, the company, in partnership with the Onitsha Business School, is set to commit into the university certification project the sum of 100 million naira seed funding for the Hero Apprenticeship Scheme. For the corporate affairs manager of the International Breweries, the move is aimed at helping to create skills as the apprenticeship system becomes formalized, just as the marketing manager notes that the program will also tackle unemployment.
So these are part of what we looked at and we decided to formalize what we call Ibom. So we don't just give Ibom. It becomes formalized, it becomes a form of education. And that's why we're here. And it's a key, education has been a key pillar of international breweries. It's something we're very keen. And that's why if you look at all our entrepreneurship initiatives, from the kickstart to all of that, we always put training and mentorship as a key part of them.
The director of Onitsha Business School highlights other features of the apprenticeship scheme.
Whatever is called education, whatever is education, is all about what is taught, learned, and applied. Those are the three hands up. And then I have emeritus here, that education is all about what is taught, learn, and apply. And all this we found it in apprenticeship.
The Anambra State Commissioner for Industry commends the initiative as a noble one aimed at equipping citizens for the future.
Because it takes one to bring one up. And everybody here, in some way, for the contributions they make to society, the media, the apprentices, you are all heroes in your respective areas of expertise and work. The Father, Amen. The Son.
For the success of the Hero Apprenticeship Scheme, the company says it has assembled scholars who have developed a curriculum for the program, which is domiciled in several approved institutions of higher learning across the country.
Let's join Anne Waldo for business news.
Thanks a lot, Ayotunde. Hello and welcome to Business News. Let's begin with Nigeria's gross official reserves. It fell significantly by $717 million month on month to $33.2 billion for the month of September. Well, that's according to latest data compiled by FBN Quest from the central bank. The consistent drop in the external buffers comes on the back of increased demand pressure and severe forex supply deficit in Nigeria. That decline also contrasts to the level in August, which rose by $2 million to almost $34 billion. But so far, the forex reserves have decreased by about $3.8 billion this year, resulting in an average monthly decline of $427 million. The government of China has committed to refinancing and completing the Abuja-Kano and Port Harcourt-Maiduguri railway projects. This follows a request made by President Bola Tinubu through the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, during the bilateral meeting with President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the ongoing Third Belt and Road Forum in Beijing, China. China has agreed to provide 85% financing for the construction of the railway projects, while Nigeria paid its counterpart funding of 15% from inception. Well, according to Vice President Shettima, the projects would open up the nation's economy, it will create jobs and boost trade and investments across the country. The Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu today performed the groundbreaking of the $100 million Lagos Film City. The Film City, which is located on a 100-hectare land area at Ikosi-Ejiri area in Ekpe local government area, is a public-private partnership model. It will be a hub for film production, visual effects, and all the ancillary services, in addition to creating jobs and attracting investment. Let's head to the domestic market now. It closed further in the green zone today. The benchmark indicators of equities performance all rose marginally at the close of midweek session. Laddie Williams has the details.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Well, the midweek session managed to end in the green today with a marginal gain of 0.04%, by 4 basis points, 67,353 points for the all-share index. We see the market cap back above that 37 trillion level. Let's look at the trading activity now. It sits more subdued compared to yesterday, with value and deals there down about 9 and 8%. And we see volume, that's the only one in the green there, 397 million units of stocks traded. Let's look at the sectoral performance. We see the banking counter is up again, 0.74%. Oil and gas also in the green, 0.22%. For the banking counter, we saw Zenith Bank and GTCO and some tier 2 banks countering the loss of Access Core, and consumer goods there stays unchanged. It was a tight market breadth with 19 stocks gaining against 18 decliners. So 2 more sessions to go for the week. Let's see if green is the color. That's the Stock Market Report. I'm Laddie Williams.
That's business news for tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Nwawodu. It's back to you, Ayotunde.
Welcome back. U.S. President Joe Biden says Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has agreed to open the Rafah border crossing to a handful of trucks loaded with aid destined for the Gaza Strip. Mr. Biden warns that if Hamas confiscates them or doesn't let it get through, then it's going to end. Here's Simon Pusey with other international stories in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Joe Biden says yesterday's massive attack on a hospital in Gaza was caused by the other team and that it was not Israel.
I was deeply saddened and outraged by the explosion at the hospital in Gaza yesterday. And based on what I've seen, it appears as though it was done by the other team, not you.
He was speaking alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at a press conference in Tel Aviv. Here, footage of the immediate aftermath of the rocket attack. The Palestinian Health Ministry has said 471 people were killed in the blast, the deadliest single attack since the conflict began, with 314 people injured. Russia's President Vladimir Putin has discussed Ukraine and the conflict in the Middle East at talks with the Chinese president. Mr. Putin said common threats would only strengthen cooperation between China and Russia. It's after he was given the red carpet treatment at a global summit in Beijing. Hosted by Xi Jinping, the meeting celebrated 10 years of his signature foreign and economic policy, the Belt and Road Initiative. Mr. Putin was the guest of honor among leaders and officials from more than 130 countries. Africa is realizing its potential and becoming an economic, political and social powerhouse. That's according to Ethiopia's Prime Minister. Abiy Ahmed was speaking at the Belt and Road Initiative Summit in Beijing, where he said the formerly sidelined continent was harnessing its demographic dividend and natural resources. He added that Africa has partially suffered the consequences of the climate crisis and conflicts in other parts of the world, and that we cannot be idle observers in forums that affect common well-being. Representatives from more than 130 countries, largely in the global south, are at the summit. The leaders of Belgium and Sweden, as well as the European Union's chief executive, have said they will double down on tightening the bloc's borders and improving security after this week's deadly attack in Brussels. They spoke after paying tribute to the victims of Monday's attack by a gunman who was a failed asylum seeker from Tunisia, in which 2 Swedish football fans died and 1 was injured. The shooting highlighted the EU's persistent difficulties in managing migration and asylum, including gaps in security.
If they are not here in a legal way, they are obliged to leave the country. We need to protect our European borders, as we have discussed quite frequently the last European councils. If we are not able to protect our common borders, we will not be able to uphold the free movement within Europe.
Combative right-wing Republican Jim Jordan has fallen short in a vote to serve as Speaker of the US House of Representatives, but more votes are expected to follow that could wear down his opponents.
Jordan.
The Ohio lawmaker and ardent ally of former President Donald Trump won 200 votes, short of the 217 needed to win the job, as 20 of his fellow Republicans voted against him. All 212 Democrats voted for their leader, Hakeem Jeffries. Greta Thunberg has been charged with a public order offence after her arrest during a fossil-free London protest.
Politicians are making deals and compromises with lobbyists.
The 20-year-old is accused of breaching a Section 14 order that police put in place outside a hotel in London where oil executives were meeting on Tuesday. The climate change activist was among protesters who gathered to object to an Energy Intelligence Forum event. And a group of students from the Technical University of Eindhoven have successfully completed a grueling 1,000-kilometre test drive over Morocco's challenging terrains. Driving what they believe to be the world's first off-road solar vehicle called Stellar Terra, the team navigated through arid riverbeds, dense forests, steep mountain trails and loose desert sands to highlight the potential of robust, sustainable transport technology. Stellar Terra turned out to use 30% less energy than expected, meaning the team were able to drive the entire trip on the sun's energy and did not depend on charging stations. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Gianni Infantino has called on Asian football to be united ahead of the 2034 World Cup, with Saudi Arabia the leading contender to host the global tournament. Speaking at the Asian Football Confederation Congress, the FIFA president urged the Asian Football Confederation to support this Saudi bid. Saudi Arabia has already kicked off their campaign to stage the tournament by submitting a letter of interest to FIFA on October 9, with football's governing body inviting countries from the Asia and Oceania regions to submit bids.
My message, obviously, to all of you, which is a message I gave to you already in Tashkent and which I can reiterate here, is to be united in Asia as well, to be united for the 2034 World Cup, which again will unite the world. As we see there is enough division already all over the world, we need occasions to bring people together. We need occasions to send messages of unity.
Newcastle's United Italian midfielder Sandro Tonali is under investigation in relation to illegal betting. Tonali joined Newcastle from AC Milan in July for a reported fee of €70 million, a record sum for an Italian player. Legal and sporting authorities are investigating the use of illegal betting platforms by soccer players in Italy. Juventus' Nicolo Fagioli received a 7-month ban as part of a settlement with the FIGC after breaching rules on betting on matches on Tuesday. That's it on Sports News. It's back to you, Ayotunde.
Many thanks, Chris. And the main news again. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the February 2023 elections, Atiku Abubakar, has asked the Supreme Court to grant his application to tender fresh evidence against President Bola Tinubu on his forgery case against the president. That's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun, and do have a good night.